Geometry. In this video, we're going to go over these practice problems that you see on the screen. These are considered core level practice. They are straightforward practice problems. So in part A, when we're trying to find this angle that has the question mark on it, let's see what information we're given. So we're given an opposite side, so I'm going to label this opposite. And we're also given the hypotenuse, so I'm going to label this hypotenuse. So since I'm given the opposite side and the hypotenuse, that tells me that I'm probably going to reach for the inverse of sine. So inverse sine, and then I'm going to plug that ratio in. So inverse sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so 39 over 44. And we're going to plug this into our calculator. And I'm sorry that my emulator is still not working. And so we find that that angle that has the question mark is 62.4 degrees. Okay, let's move on. In the angle that's got the question mark, the 24 here is adjacent to that missing angle, and the 36 is the hypotenuse. So since I've got an adjacent side and a hypotenuse, that tells me that I'm going to reach for inverse cosine. And I'm going to plug the ratio in like so. Plug that into our calculator, 24 divided by 36. And we get 48.2 degrees. So that angle is 48.2 degrees. Okay, so in part C, they want us to solve for angle Z. Here's angle Z. So in relation to angle Z, 3 is the opposite side and 9 is the hypotenuse. So since I've got opposite and hypotenuse, I'm going to reach for inverse sine. And I'm going to have 3 over 9. So I'm going to put inverse sine, 3 divided by 9. And so the measure of angle Z equals 19.5 degrees. Okay, now in the last one, we've got two unknowns and we've got an isosceles triangle. So to help me figure this out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an altitude in, and that means that this base over here gets broken up. So that means this is 13 and this side also measures 13. This piece right here is also 18 because it's an isosceles triangle. Let's find angle Y first. So in relation to angle Y, the side that's labeled 13 is an adjacent side, and the side that's labeled 18 is the hypotenuse, because what we're looking at is this right triangle that I've just highlighted in yellow. So since I've got an adjacent and a hypotenuse, I'm going to reach for the inverse of cosine. And I'm going to plug 13 divided by 18 into there. So when I do that, I find that the measure of angle Y is 43.8 degrees. So we're going to use that information to help me figure out what the measure of angle X is as well. So it's an isosceles triangle originally. This angle measured Y, and it was 43.8 degrees, which means this other base angle also measures 43.8 degrees. We know that the measures of the angles of a triangle all add up to 180 degrees. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 43 plus 8 plus 43 plus 8 plus x, because this is what we're trying to find, and set that equal to 180. So let's solve. So 43 plus 8 plus 43, or 43.8 plus 43.8 is going to give us 87.6 plus x equals 180. We're going to subtract that from 180, which means that the measure of angle X is 92.4 degrees.